Are you worried about the Golden State Warriors?
A little bit,
Their
yes.
defense ass, kind of.
Everything's ass right now. Just for some background, they have the 20th offense and the 24th defense right now. The defending champs. And they're largely healthy.
That's what's concerning to me. I'm not worried about the Warriors' offense at all. Eventually, like, you have a Steph Curry-centered offense. That's going to fix itself, right? The problem is that for this entire run, you have this team that's been one of the best defensive teams in the league, and now they're 24th in defense, and that's kind of scary. And the main lineups that you play, you have Klay Thompson, who can't defend anybody. You have Jordan Poole, who can't.
I mean, it's not really Klay's fault.
No, listen, it's not his fault. Like that, he's like doing something wrong, but he's just limited
He's
now
just
because of
older,
all
and
these
he's-
injuries.
I
Like,
wouldn't say he can't defend anybody. He's not the Klay he used to be, but he's still a competent defender. Like, there's certain plays you see him get blown by, you're like, that wouldn't have happened in 2019. But he's not he's not a
Poole
complete
can't
liability out
defend.
there.
Poole can't
So-
defend.
Yeah.
In my mind, I don't know. Isaac, you probably have the stats up already, but I just looked at James Wiseman's numbers, and he gets a pretty good amount of burn, and he's averaging like 0.4 blocks, and that kind of screams like, oh shit, how is their rim defense right now in my mind? And not only was the rim defense as perimeter defense, like Donovan was kind of alluding to, is kind of suspect right. Not kind of, it is suspect right now.
So, okay, so let me give you all some numbers, like you said. Right now, they're last in rim defense in terms of volume.
That's what I
So
thought.
they're not the worst in terms of like efficiency there. Like, they're defending it okay, but they're letting everybody get there nonstop. Like, it's just a fucking turnstile to get to the rim. And on the offensive end, they're last in rim scoring right now. So that's just like math that really makes it harder for you to compete because those are the most efficient shots in the game. So if you're getting eaten alive there and doing no eating there, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
But
And
more importantly, the interesting part real quick is their starting lineup is a good defensive unit. It has a 100 offensive rating, which is 90th percentile. So like that regular Curry, Klay, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney team is completely fine. That's not the issue at all. If you look at the specific lineups that are getting cooked that have like 135, 162, 146 defensive ratings, they're all the ones with Jordan Poole and James Wiseman.
Yeah.
see, and that's one of the reasons why you saw after that Denver series in the first round, that pool party lineup where you had Steph, Klay, Poole, Wiggs, and Dre, that was unplayable because you just didn't have enough defense. And now you're seeing it now. And for Wiseman, like if Wiseman isn't going to be able to play on the perimeter the same way that Kevon can or the same way that Draymond can, then you have a problem because now you can't have that size and that switchability out there, and somebody has to make up for Jordan Poole's for his like lack of defense.
Bro, Jordan Poole's on-off numbers right now are fucking horrendous. Oh my
Really?
god.
What are
So
they?
when he's on the court, their defense is 11 points per 100 possessions worse, which is like literally the difference between the best defense in the league and by far the worst. Like that's abhorrent. It's 12th percentile. But even on offense, their offensive rating is 14.6 points worse than him on the court. So in totality, when he's on the court, they're 25 points per possession worse than when he's off the court. Now, it's a small sample size, and these offensive and defensive rating aren't individual stats, so it's not all on him. It's about the lineups he's in with. A lot of those lineups have James Wiseman, like you said, who's also been an eyesore. But when they're that bad, it doesn't mean it's all his fault, but clearly he's not elevating anybody. He's not doing his job well.
It's also very funny because if you look at the Warriors, like Steph is playing 34 minutes a night. Wiggins is playing 33 minutes a night. It's clear like these are the two guys that we need on the floor at all times. Everybody else is under 30 minutes a game. Draymond is under 30 minutes. Poole is under 30 minutes, right? And so it's very very interesting because you don't have like a lineup that you're gonna have out there for a majority of the game to set the tone, and you kind of just have like this turnstile of guys that you're bringing in to try to figure out like who is gonna get this stop. Like somebody has to do their job, and so that's the thing
It's tough.
that's the thing that's concerning.
Too bad.
What's it called? Yeah, GP2, Otto Porter. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that they have to like in minutes they have to reproduce with new bodies, and I guess their bet was the young guys are gonna be able to do it, but we haven't seen it materialize. I think Moses Moody's been solid, but like Jordan Poole will be better. Like he had a slow start. I think the past couple of games he's starting to improve.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing too, because we're talking about their offense and like writing it off as like, oh, the offense will be fine, but there's legitimate issues there. Right now, outside of Curry, they have like no creation ability. Like we talked about them not getting to the rim at all. Usually, if you can't get to the rim, it's because you don't have ball handlers that can penetrate at all, and you're just taking tough mid-range shots. That's really been the story of their offense outside of Curry. Like Draymond's on a minutes restriction, he hasn't been himself. Clay's on a minutes restriction. Jordan Poole is playing like Jeremy Lin. Like it's just been tough.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
with
He hasn't
all
been that bad. I'm
this,
just kidding.
with all this being said, just imagine how much worse they would be if like Curry goes on his like normal like slow start at the beginning of the season. Right now, he's been on fucking fire. He's been doing his thing. He's been in his bag right now. I think he's
Yeah.
averaging like 30 or something like that, or a little bit above 30. I don't know, and he's putting up pretty efficient numbers off the top of my head if I can remember correctly as well. So just
31
they
points
would
per
be-
game right now. Sheesh.
yeah, that's crazy. Who would have thought, bro? He's towards the top of the NBA in scoring, but yet the Warriors are here playing really mediocre basketball. Yes, it is concerning, but if you're a Warriors fan, it ain't nothing too much
Yeah.
to sweat about. But I do know that, like, they haven't been this bad defensively in a very long, excluding their tanking years or 2 tanking years or whatever.
Yeah.
They haven't been this bad at all defensively. So
I think one thing we can see a pattern with Curry in recent years of like the second half of the dynasty. If he has to score this much, it's probably a problem. Last time
Yeah.
we saw him go on this kind of fucking bender, being an unstoppable scorer, was a year where they made the play in and lost
Yeah.
because they had nobody around him. So it's great to see Curry drop 35, 39, 37 in triple in 3 straight games, but if he's out here doing that, it's probably by necessity, and that's not a good sign for their offense.
yeah, absolutely not, dog. And now at this point, like, I remember a couple podcasts ago, I think we were talking about the Warriors and how they lost some key guys like Otto Porter
Mhm.
Jr. and Gary Payton and things of that nature. And now it's like all on the young dudes. Kuminga hasn't been playing recently at all, bro. He's got DNPs. That's crazy. And Moses
Yeah.
Moody hasn't been absolutely fantastic, or we haven't seen a real like impactful second year leap or anything of that nature just yet. And now you're kind of like, damn, you're left like
Yeah.
with nothing pretty much. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
damn.
I see what you're saying. Like, it's like, what's the answer? If maybe just Kuminga's not that guy. Like, at a certain point, maybe I don't know if we're there yet, but eventually it's gonna be like if Curry
He's
doesn't
19.
want to play him at all.
He's 19, 20. Like he's like
He's
there's
been 19
still,
for 3 years.
there's two.
Okay.
How old is he? Let me.
He's like 20 probably,
Yeah.
or 21.
Yeah, he's young. I'm not saying he's cooked. I'm just saying that if in the very near term, if Curry doesn't feel comfortable playing him, you can only wait so long without having that wing depth. They might have to make a move and find somebody else to fill that hole. Like Mo's saying, like maybe the answer isn't on the lineup right now because outside of him, there's not a ton of depth there.
I think
Yeah.
well, we saw a lot last season, like especially early in the season. We saw Kerr give a lot of minutes to Kuminga. Like there were just times where he, like, especially early in the season when you're trying to figure out who you're gonna play in April, in May, you're just gonna have to eat those minutes, and you're really just gonna have to like say, hey, these next 2 weeks, Kuminga, you're gonna play 28 to 30 minutes a night. Like I need to see what you have, because this 9 minutes to 15 minutes every single night, bringing them in and off the bench, that consistency isn't going to give you any answers as a coach as to what he really has. Like you're going to have to give him some serious time. So I
Not
think
only is that
What's up?
detrimental to their like current present right now, but also for their future. I'm like a strong believer in like everything for a player, young players specifically, is like situational. There's players who
Yeah.
are probably as talented, who have no more talent as Jonathan Kuminga right now, who are going absolute crazy. Someone who's not comparable in terms of play style or anything of that sense, but like, yo, this dude got potential if he has the space to show, is like a Bobo. Like he's going crazy right now in Orlando, and like he wasn't on none of that when he was in Denver. There's probably a lot of issues with personalities and how he was acting or whatever. But like, needless to say, like he just needs an opportunity. And with what Steve Kerr is doing right now, I don't know the logistics or schematics behind that whatsoever. But I think he's just doing a disservice for everyone by not giving him more burn than fucking someone like Ty Jerome. It's embarrassing.
facts.
Yeah. Eventually, I'm sure Kuminga's going to get his time to shine, but he's also probably got to earn it. Like there's probably a reason. Like if it was up to Steve Kerr in an ideal world, he'd probably be giving these guys tons of minutes and they'd be taking over the team. But if they're not playing to the point where they deserve that, it's kind of hard to walk that tightrope when you're losing so much early in the season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand his perspective.
Yeah, I'm not tripping. I'm not mad at it at all. But I think the Warriors are going to be good at the end of the day. So
Yeah, it's hard to predict them not coming back. I think they'll be fine too.